start. Okay, so the Maamer is in Tafshin Mem Tes. It's a Maamer that was said all Hey Sivan, right? Erev Chag HaShavuos, and it starts like this: Ankhi Hashem Elokecha, Asher Hotzaatiך Maaretz Mitzrayim. I am your God, your Lord, your God that is taking you out of Egypt. The pasuk zehu דיבור הראשון דעשרת הדברות שניתנו במתן תורה בו' סיון. So this, this the first דיבור and עשרת הדברות that was given on Matan Torah. לאחר שהקדימו ישראל נעשה לנשמע. This is after the fact that Bnei Israel said, we will do, and then we will hear, we will listen. ובאו מלאכי השרת, and have brackets. באו מלאכי השרת, וקשרו לכל אחד מישראל שני כתרים, אחד כנגד נעשה, ואחד כנגד נשמע. And the Malachim came and gave them each a crown, a keter, for each one of those, one for Na'aseh and one for Nishma, like the Gemara says. בחמישי בסיון. This is on the 5th day of Sivan. This is, by the way, when the Maamer was said. So after they said Na'aseh v'Nishma and Hey Sivan, then we had Ankhi Hashem Elokecha, the Seres HaDibros. Yeah?
Yeah.
ומובא בכמה דרושים לרבותינו נשיאנו, השאלה ידועה לגדולי ישראל. And it's brought down in the Maamer of, and many drushim of our Rebbeim, Rabotenu Nesienu, that the question that a lot of the Gdolei Israel would ask, and if you look at foot in the Gdolei Israel that's referred to here in the footnotes is Rabbi Ibn Ezra, and it's in Parashat Vayitro, and he says that it was one of the questions that Rabbi Yehuda Levi asked. And the Kuzari, that's one of the questions also that was asked by the king of Kuzar. You know, the Kuzari, when one of the questions that was asked over there is that after the Chacham came in, you know, the philosopher came in, and then the priest, and then when finally the Chacham came in, he told him, Anochi Hashem, he told him, which God do you believe in? He told him, Anochi Hashem Alkecha Hotzaateich Mitzrayim. And then the king told him, now I know that you guys are, now I know why I brought in the Jews last. Because I think the Chachma, you guys are not, your Chachma was taken away from you already. So the Chacham.
What do you mean? The Chacham was taken away from you?
Yeah, like you're not smart. Because he started with a philosopher. Because he says over there, the philosophy was very much, learned in his time at the Kuzar. So he brought it. And he didn't accept his answer because the philosopher told him, listen, whatever you do, no matter what you'll do, you can never reach, you can never get close to God, because He's divine, He's infinite, you're finite. It doesn't work. So he didn't accept an answer because in his dream, he was constantly dreaming that he had to do something. That in a dream, they told him, what was the lashon over there? Maasecha kavanatcha retzuya. You have a good kavana, you're on the right track, but maasecha enam retzuim. But your maaser are not.
Change.
Yeah, so you have to do something. There's a change. So he said, the philosopher told him, you can't do anything. He said, okay, it can't be this. So then he went to the Muslim, and then he went to the Christian, and they both started by saying, we believe in God that created the heaven and earth. And when it came to Chacham, he says, I believe in God that took us out of Egypt. I believe in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that took us out of Egypt, and so. And then the king told him, why didn't you start from the beginning? Why are you starting right away from Yetziat Mitzrayim? Why don't you start with the God that sustains the world and so forth? So the Chacham over there actually told him a very interesting answer. He told him, well, that God nobody saw.
What?
That God nobody saw. It's a metaphysical God. It's the God of creation. God of creation, nobody saw him. Even Adam Arishon, right? I mean, the first day, nobody saw him. Adam Arishon came on the sixth day. God was, quote unquote, nobody's there to actually witness the God, right? This God of creation. And therefore, he told him that's why he started. And I'm not talking to you about just a metaphysical God, talking about a real God that spoke to Abraham, spoke to Isaac, to individual, and after to the collective, right? From Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to all of Israel, and then Yetziat Mitzrayim, and then Kriyat Yam Suf, the whole thing over there. So the answer was over there. That's why he started by quoting Asher Hotzi'ticha Me'eretz Mitzrayim. But the fact is the Rebbe says that this was a question that a lot of Gdolei Israel asked this question.
A lot of Gdolei
Israel. A lot of, Ibn Ezra asked this question, the Kuzari, what?
Yeah.
Because of the fact. Now, the Rebbe is going to bring a different angle altogether. The Rebbe says, why did we bring Yetziat Mitzrayim when creation is a much greater manifestation of God in the world? It's a much greater miracle, right?
Yeah.
So why in
the micro when you could be in the macro?
Exactly. I have to share this question with you because the first time I looked at it this morning and a little bit last week. It's not that I don't understand the question. The question is, the way I understand it, the question is only valid if we were to say, in other words, this question is only valid if we were to say that the statement of Anochi Hashem Elokecha or the mitzvah of Anoshim, whatever how you want to, because there's also a debate on that, whether Anochi was actually just a statement, because there's no commandment there. It's not like Lo Yelecha, Lo Tirtzach. It's just a statement. God is not telling you to do anything, right? Because a mitzvah, Moshe? You can argue that. I'm saying a mitzvah usually there's a commandment. You have to do this.
It's a big kasha.
It's a big kasha, right? Because some don't count Anochi as the part of the Ten Commandments. There are some that don't count it as the Ten Commandments. There's a whole debate.
Raises lots of questions.
Raises a lot of questions because Anochi is just a statement.
The Ikar is the mitzvah, and here you've got a principle, but it seems to be separate or above mitzvah.
Right, and even right, and even in grammatically, there's no do this or there's because in a mitzvah there's that in a commandment there has to be some kind of a verb. There's no verb there.
You can reconcile.
Right, you could absolutely. Absolutely. Some people say no, Anochi is the basis of everything.
Bring you to leaving Egypt.
That's right.
So that's a regular. It's like this is the object, and this is, and now I'm going to tell you how to get there.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. Some argue that this is actually the point because it's also the basis of everything.
But it's placing the connection as the primary point.
Right. What do you mean?
Because coming out of Egypt is we're all coming out of Egypt all the time, which is probably also
right.
Talk about. So in order to within that concept is connection, and within that concept is it's Simpson.
Right.
So
right. So
that's not in a way that's a steerer to maybe to Na'asa v'nishma, because it's giving you how to get there before. It's like you know where you've got to be before you do the work.
That's right. Exactly. But so back to what I was saying is that ultimately. The question is only valid. This is what I came up with. It's only valid if we were to say that the Anochi was actually coming to show the greatness of Hashem. Because he's asking, well, why are you stating Yetziat Mitzrayim where the manifestation of Hashem is much greater in creation? But maybe the Anochi was not coming to actually display the greatness of Hashem? How do we know?
Sure. Well, then you put greatness above connection as well within that. That explicit statement means that it's all about
what recognizing the greatness of Hashem.
Yeah.
Right. That if that's the way it's understood.
You may be getting close, but you're only getting close could be about you, when really in getting close, your closeness, or really your makshava has to be about the greatness of Hashem, which is coming out of Egypt, which actually may even go back to before Adam, to the first day of creation.
Perfect. So the Anokhi itself,
to the actual symptom itself.
Right. So that's how we understand the Anokhi. The Anokhi means this is coming to display the greatness of Hashem.
Yeah.
Now, if we are to display the greatness of Hashem, there's a much greater,
Wow. Because it's very much connected to the sphere today.
What of Yesod Shebeod?
Yeah.
Why?
Because Yesod Shebeod is about love and respect, and it's also to do with Deis Tanya. So you're very much in when you respect in every relationship, you love and respect Hashem, your fellow Jews, all Torah and everything. You focus on the greatness of everything in Hashem's creation, particularly your fellow Jew, and that's above the connection.
That's right. Beautiful. Very nice. Because he says
it's not me. I read it this morning. So
yeah. But you're connecting it to the Maamer. Beautiful. ביציאת מצרים, אף שהיו כמה ניסים, הרי נוסף לזה שאין זה ביור מספיק על זה שאומר אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים דווקא. He says that although in מצרים, אף שהיו כמה ניסים, that there were many miracles, besides the fact that this is not sufficient to explain why it says אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים. Why? מכיוון שגם קודם יציאת מצרים וכן לאחר יציאת מצרים היו כמה וכמה ניסים. He says that if the reason why it says אשר אנכי הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים is because of the miracles that were taking place during יציאת מצרים, that's not sufficient. It cannot be the answer. Why? Because there was miracles before יציאת מצרים, and then great miracles after יציאת מצרים. הנה עניין הנס. In other words, if you will tell me that the reason why we're saying אנכי אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים is because of the miracles that took place in יציאת מצרים, well, it's not a sufficient answer, because before and after יציאת מצרים there were great miracles as well. And besides, עניין הנס הוא שינוי מיש ליש.
After you can connect to the starting point, which you could say is coming out of Egypt, the kasha is really on what happens. What's the difference between that point in time and the time before? You can say everything focus on a central point. If you make the after Mitzrayim is less of an issue than before.
Right. Why? Because after
it starts from a central point, and develops from that.
That's right. So therefore okay, it makes sense. It's
a product of it's an effect of a cause.
That's right.
But what about
before?
What is before?
What is before?
No, before Mitzrayim, coming out of Egypt. What does? You're saying that if the fact that it ignores the future is irrelevant. What is relevant is why does it ignore the part from Adam to coming out of Egypt?
Yeah.
Why does it say that I'm the Lord of God who created Adam?
That's right. Yeah, and besides that fact, now he gets into the idea that miracle.
Didn't Adam have the same thing going on as
Yetziat Mitzrayim?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, you would say maybe even more manifestation at least. Yeah. And if we're talking about the Anhaga,
from the tree.
If we're talking about the Anhaga of Hashem, how would you translate Anhaga? What's the word I'm looking for? The way God conducts the world, the way he rules over the world.
Yeah.
Right. This Hanaga, when it comes to Nisim, when it comes to miracle, it's Yesh Miyesh, and the creation is Yesh Mi'ayin.
Yeah.
And we know that yesh mi yesh is on one level, right? Because yesh mi yesh is
cause and effect.
It's cause and effect. It's ila ve'alul, and yesh mi yesh is something that even human beings in sort of way, even right, a tzaddik could also do a yesh mi yesh, right? He could tamper with nature. He could change something that's within nature, but the yesh mi'ayin is b'koach ha'atzmus. The yesh mi'ayin is in the atzmus. 1 second, let me just. Meantime, while you contemplate,
Everyone's in yesh mi'ayin.
Right?
Every Jew's in yesh mi'ayin.
Every Jew is in yesh mi'ayin, right?
Yeah. Which is maybe the inner part of coming out of Egypt.
Okay, can we go for a second just to the Maamer of the
Sure.
of the Mittler Rebbe?
Was that the second one? Or I didn't get the third.
Oh, you didn't get the third
No,
one?
wait a second. I've got which one we were in now? This one here.
We are.
I've got three.
Sorry. Yeah, this one. The last one.
Yeah.
Let's just. I want to see if I'm seeing this with you. I want to see that this is in one of the footnotes.
I'm now thinking of a kasha.
Of a kasha?
Yeah.
Okay, let's see the kasha.
All right, well, carry on. I don't want to put my thoughts.
Yeah, well, for sure we could. Let's just see this for a second.
Sure.
It says, "Leman tiskot yom tzedcha me'eretz Mitzrayim."
Yeah.
Kol yemei chayecha. All of you, the days. ואמרו רז"ל להביא לימות המשיח. כל ימי חייך להביא לימות המשיח.
Yeah. Gosh, that's huge.
Yeah. הנה יום צאתך מארץ מצרים קאי על בחינת האמונה.
Yeah.
כמו שכתוב, בזכות האמונה יצאו בני ישראל ממצרים.
Yeah.
So יציאת מצרים is referring to the level of אמונה. Because of the זכות, the merit of the אמונה, בני ישראל came out of Egypt.
Yeah.
צריך להמשיך בחינת יום דאמונה בכל ימי חייך. And one has to draw this עניין of אמונה, this idea, all of these days. דהיינו תורה ומצוות שנקראים ימי חייך.
Yeah.
That Torah ומצוות are called ימי חייך.
Yeah.
So למען תזכור יום צאתך מארץ מצרים, you have to draw this idea of יום צאתך מארץ מצרים because צאתך מארץ מצרים is the אמונה. כל ימי חייך. In the Kol Yemei Chayecha, you have to draw. One has to draw this idea of Yom Tzedcha Meretz Mitzrayim. ובמצוות נאמר, אלה המצוות אשר יעשה אותם וחי בהם. And regarding the mitzvot, it says, these are the mitzvot that one should do them, and he should live by them. והיינו, meaning, כמו שאמרו רז"ל, תרי"ג מצוות נותנו לישראל בחבקוק ומידם על אחת. Like I said, you say that 613 mitzvot were giving to Bnei Israel. Came Chabakuk and he established it on one mitzvah. Shene'emar v'tzadik be'emunato yichyeh. Right. So the tzaddik in his emunah.
One mitzvah as well.
What?
What's the one that established on one mitzvah, which is
the emunah.
So implicit within coming out of Egypt is emunah, and implicit within emunah is yesh mi'ayin.
Yeah. It's all
one thing.
It's all one thing. Absolutely.
So basically, it's a garment coming out of Mitzrayim. It's a coat in order to reveal something that's hidden within it.
Because everything stands on it, and this is what he said: the emuna mamid ve'ikar kiyum kol hamizvot. And
the emuna sits within you, where in your outside of your body or within your body.
Well, the emuna has to be everywhere. Has to come be yashvut.
So it's up in. You
have to draw it.
Or is it? Where is it? It must be high up, and you must be constantly bringing more of them into you.
A lot of the times, emuna in Hasidus is explained that it's in in the makif, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But in the makif itself is drawn into chokhmah, because chokhmah is still.
Oh, so it's in the chokhmah in the makif.
The makif the chokhmah. In other words, it's still because chokhmah is still not. It's barak hamavrik, right? It's just like it's still not there. It's not grasped yet.
It's hidden.
One of the things that the Rebbe had a beer on the Maamer, that's why we said leshev besukkah.
Yeah, in order to
right? The makif should be beisyashvut. That it should be drawn down. Velavin inyan zeu b'chinat ha'emunah. He says, in order to understand this, and to understand this idea of emunah, yesh la'agdim kushiyat ha'filosofim. This is already the kashya. This is where I wanted to bring it down to. Amashikatu, and this is the kasha. The kasha that the philosophers asked, במתן תורה אנכי השם אלקיך אשר הוצאתיך ממצרים, למה לא אמר להשאיר אלקיך אשר בראתי שמיים וארץ? הרי הוא פלא יותר מנס יציאת מן שאינו רק יש ליש ובריאת שמיים ויש מאין. Same question that the Rebbe asked. Says that the question that the kasha is like the greatest miracle, the manifestation of Hashem in the world. It's much greater in regards to Yetziat Mitzrayim, in regards to creation, because in creation it's yesh me'ayin, and Yetziat Mitzrayim is yesh me'yesh. The nisim of the pele, the miracle and the greatness and this whole wonder, pele, this wonder is much more, it's much greater creation than it is in Yetziat Mitzrayim. גם האבן עזרא יקשה מה שאנו אומרים. Interesting. He says that even the Ibn Ezra, this is another angle. The Ibn Ezra also asked the question, why do we say in 18, ברוך אתה השם אלוקי אברהם, אלוקי יצחק, and לא נאמר אלוקי השמיים והארץ? What does it say? The God of heaven and earth. What do we say? אלוקי אברהם, אלוקי יצחק ואלוקי יעקב. לכאורה הוא קושיה אחת עם הקושיה הנ"ל. דהיינו, למה לא מזכירים בריאת שמיים וארץ במתן תורה, במתן תורה בין 18?
I've come back to something I said before. Why didn't there's no mention of Adam coming out of Mitzrayim?
Right. אבל באמת מוכרח שלא יתורת שני הקושיות הנ"ל בחד אמרת, כי מתן תורה נזכר עניין יציאת מצרים, כשנזכר אלוקי אבותינו שהוא עניין האמונה שירושלים אבותינו, והאמונה העיקר שבשבילה זכו ליציאת מצרים. He says that one cannot answer both questions with one answer, because ultimately Yetziat Mitzrayim in Matan Torah it says Yetziat Mitzrayim, and in 18 it says Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak. In other words, in Matan Torah it says I'm your God, took you out of Egypt. In 18 we says I am the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So we can't give one answer to both. There's a reason why here in the 18 it says Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchak, Elokei. But in any case, what we wanted to bring out from this Maamer is that this idea repeats itself in many places, and it seems that everyone understood that really when it comes to I'm going back to our Maamer. Really, all the philosophers and all the mefarshim on the Torah understood that the idea here is that Hashem displays His greatness when He declares Anochi Hashem Elokecha, and when He displays His greatness, He should display it in a much greater way by saying Anochi Hashem Elokecha שהוצאתיך מארץ מצרים. This was one of the sources that in the footnote number 5 that we just saw from the Mittler Rebbe that asks the same question, and he adds an angle to it in regards to 18. That also in 18 there's a great question on why we say Elokei Avraham. בריאת שמיים וארץ הוא יש מאין. ונוסף לזה, furthermore. So first of all, שמיים וארץ is יש מאין. הנס, miracle, יש מיש. Furthermore, let's deepen the question.
What was yesh miyesh again? No,
Yesh
what
mi-
in what did it? What was that last point?
In yesh miracles are yesh miyesh,
Yeah,
and and creation is yesh mi'ayin.
yeah,
And when we want to display the greatness of Hashem,
yeah,
one should do it with a yesh mi'ayin, which is much greater than the yesh miyesh.
yeah.
בנוסף לזה, furthermore, the Rebbe says, שבריאה יש מאין הוא פלא גדול יותר. הנה גם הכוח האלוקי שבבריאה יש מאין הוא כך נעלה יותר. He says, besides the fact that yesh מאין is a much greater wonder,
Yeah,
also the koach, the godly flow that creates the godly energy, the elokus that creates yesh mi'ayin is a much greater.
It's from the believable.
It's believable. It's in the atzmus.
It's in the Havai.
That's right. Kiyadua,
Yeah,
it is known. שבריאה יש מאין היא בכוח, רק בכוח העצמות. He says that the bria yesh me'ayin is sourced only in the atzmus. Only Hashem himself, the atzmus of Hashem,
yeah.
is able to create yesh me'ayin.
There's a problem there.
That's right. Shemetzi oto me'atzmuto.
Yeah,
That his existence is within himself.
yeah,
In other words, independent, not dependent on anything else.
yeah.
ויש לומר, לזה שהמציאות יש הנברא היא מציאות אמיתית, ומפני שהתהוותו מעצמות יש אמיתי.
Yeah,
He says, this is a great point, because I think in the footnote he says that it's not like a lot of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, or maybe it's not in this footnote, maybe somewhere else he brings it.
yeah,
He says a lot of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov, even the Alter Rebbe says it in Tanya, made a mistake that the world is only an imagination. He says, no.
Who made the mistake?
Some of the Talmidim of the Baal Shem Tov. A mistake in the fact that they said this world is not.
Why would they say that?
It's because the world is not real.
Yeah, but why? But it is. It can be both.
That's right. So it's not that it's not real. It's just that it's the reality. It's not a true reality, but it's not a false reality.
Yeah, that's the paradox of.
That's
There has to be too.
right. On one end, because something that's emet,
Yeah, yeah,
the way we
yeah,
define something that's emet is something that is independent.
Yeah.
It's not dependent on something else.
yeah,
Since the world is dependent on God constantly creating it,
yeah.
it doesn't have a real reality. It's not real in a
Oh,
sense
well,
where,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
That's the vort over
Yeah,
there. And the old, I mean,
yeah.
there's probably a different vort.
The premise is independence, which is a false premise anyway.
That's right. So a lot of the Talmidim understood the first when the Baal Shem Tov spoke about this.
Yeah,
But this whole idea that the Alter Rebbe brings, that Leolam Divrecha Hashem Nitzav B'Shamayim, that the
Yeah.
words of Hashem are constantly creating and
Yeah.
so forth,
yeah.
that itself means that
Gosh.
the world is not always into do. And so he says that the fact that the world is true, and this is a very important bracket here.
Yeah,
He says, "V'yesh loimar." I'm repeating it. This that the existence of the nivra, of the creatures of creation, is a real metzius, is a real
coming out of Egypt. It's a real avoda.
yeah, it's a real metzius.
Yeah,
Umipneh is because its existence is from the atzmus. Yesh amiti.
Ah.
In other words, the reason.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, and this is I was right. In footnote 9,
Yeah,
it says Sha'olam hu metziut velo dimayon.
yeah,
That the world is a metzius, is a real reality, and not an imagination. Because although one would think, oh, since it's not real, it's an imagination.
because it has that smell.
That's right. And that's the reason, because it's created from Atzmus, that's what it's a real reality.
Yeah, the rest is detail.
That's just it. And therefore, based on these two factors, the fact is that
We have a lot.
Yesh Me'ayin is greater than a miracle, which is Yesh Me'esh.
Yeah,
Furthermore,
Oh, I see now. So that's what he's saying.
the koach,
Yeah.
the vitality that Hashem, with which Hashem creates the world, is from the Atzmus. It comes from the essence of Hashem.
That's what we have the first statement. I'm the Lord who brings you out of Egypt, because there's the Atzmus.
That's right. Why don't you say Asher Hotzeticha, Asher Barati Shamayim Va'aretz, which shows and manifests Hashem in a much greater way.
What's the Atzmus for Adam Rishon then, who comes before coming out of Egypt?
What's that?
What's the Atzmus for Adam Rishon?
How would he see the
everyone before? I get from him all the way through to the who is.
Well, the truth is, the second you just now while you're speaking,
or the day before you come out of Egypt, or before all the miracles happened in Egypt, you've got a Jew living in the Galus of Egypt 100 years before, he's a slave and everything.
Well,
what's his Atzmus?
But according now to the second, what I understand when the Rebbe says v'nosaf lezeh, what did he add? He already said the miracles is yesh miyesh, and b'riat shamayim va'aretz is yesh me'ayin. Okay, fine.
Okay.
Second, v'nosaf lezeh. Furthermore, that's something that we can even feel now.
I got that.
Right? Even now, the koach ha'atzmus that Hashem creates constantly.
Yeah.
It's now. So it's a greater manifestation. It's a greater thing to say that God is the one that creates heaven and earth than saying God is just a God of that took us out of Egypt. Because the anhaga that took place and the miracles. First of all, the miracles I just yes me yes.
But the implication is the creation that starts at coming out of Egypt. Because if that's the Atzmus, well, how do you see everything before that point in time?
Before out of Egypt? Oh, before out of Egypt, I would say that the only thing you knew was Atzmus, yesh me'ayin. Because what miracles took place before Egypt?
Oh, I see. Now we're looking at Atzmus in two different ways: revelation and it being hidden.
Because before.
I got questions on that. All right, sorry.
No, I'm saying yes, there is questions on that, and the truth is that the Shloah Kadosh, the Shloah Shnei Luchot HaBrit, the Shloah Kadosh, the Shloah Kadosh explains that question of the Gemara that has a machloke between Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer argued on when was the world created.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One says it was in Tishrei.
Oh, yeah.
The other one says it was in Nisan.
What was it to do with the Mishum's thought or?
Oh, so the Rebbe Chassidus explains a very, very deep idea.
Yeah.
This was in Machshava, this was
in
Maaseh. But the Shloah says something very interesting.
Yeah.
The Shloah says ultimately they're the same opinion. Why? Because he says again a little bit close to what the Kuzari said. He says the God of creation was actually revealed at the time of Nisan.
You can't have one without the other.
It was revealed.
Until
now it was Behelim. Till now the whole Tishrei.
It's not a maximized. It's not a complete thought.
Not manifested in the world.
Yeah.
When the Shem Havaya manifests itself in the world.
Yeah.
And this is also what Hashem told Moshe. V'ani Hashem lo nodati lahem. Right?
Yeah.
I haven't spoken to the Avois and Shem Havaya. And although the Chassidus asks, well, 1 second, Hashem did speak to Abraham with Shem Havaya.
Yeah.
But there was a different level of Shem Havaya, the whole tirutz over there. But in any case, we see that before Yetziat Mitzrayim, the whole anhaga of Shem Havaya is Behelim.
Yeah.
And therefore, okay, so now that after Yetziat Mitzrayim, right, it came to be Begilui.
Yeah.
Why don't you say Asher Hotzאתיך, Asher Barati Shamayim Va'aretz, which is ultimately the real Let's put it this way: the whole goal of Yetziat Mitzrayim is to bring about the Gilui of the Yesh Me'ayin.
Oh, yeah. Unless you want to say that that's implicit within coming out of Egypt as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. And maybe that's why it says
Because heaven and earth are Maaser, and above the Maaser is what brings you to the Maaser, and the Maaser is the Bitul.
That's right. So, and ultimately they go together.
It's the nothingness, which is hard to, not maybe not the right word, the cause of everything.
In other words, Yetziat Mitzrayim brought about the absolutely Bitul. That's it. Bitul is the purpose of creation, to make the ani into the ain, right?
To make the what?
Ani, me, same letters as ain. To bring the ani, that's the Chidush of Tzemach Tzedek. So I said, to bring the ani into the ain, to turn the ani, to transform the ani into the ain.
The aleph in the ayin.
That's right. For the ayin. Okay, so now we understand the question, and this is how the Rebbe concludes. ולמה אומר אשר הוצאתיך מארץ מצרים, לאחרי לומר לכאורה ולא לומר אשר בראתי שמיים וארץ. Should have said that has created heaven and earth. Now, in Ois base, he says, ויש להוסיף לזה שלכאורה ולא לומר אשר בראתי שמיים וארץ, וגם לפי שבריאת שמיים וארץ ומתן תורה, אנכי השם אלוקיך הוא הפתיחה דמתן תורה. שייכים זה לזה.
Oh gosh.
Now, another kasha. He said, but his kasha, it's a kasha that's strengthening the kasha.
Yeah.
Because he says ultimately there's a connection between Briat Shamayim Va'aretz and Matan Torah. There's a connection between Torah, Matan Torah, with the whole idea of Torah, and creation of heaven and earth. Because we know that heaven and earth is constantly renewed.
Yeah.
Like the Torah of the Baal Shem Tov on the pasuk, Le'olam Hashem divrecha nitzah b'shamayim, ובאו בספר תניא קדישא, as we know that Shara Yichud Va'emuna, where it says that the words of Hashem are always suspended in the heavens, שכוח האלוקי מהווה תמיד את הנברא מאין ליש. That the godly force is constantly creating every the nivra,
every letter,
every letter, everything is creating of every second. מכיוון שבריאה התהוות והתהוות יש מאין בכוח העצמוס.
That's hard.
Right?
Yeah.
And since the bria of yesh me'ayin is found only within the capabilities of the essence of God, if you will, מובן שהבריאה שבכל רגע ורגע יש מאין ממש מעצמות. It's self-understood that the bria, that creation of every moment, is יש מאין ממש מעצמוס. ועל דרך זהו בתורה. And so too, when in regards to the Torah. What does that mean? שנתינתה והמשכתה היא מעצמות אנכי. That the given in the Torah and the hamshacha of the Torah is from the atzmus. והמשכתה מעצמות היא בכל רגע.
What is the Torah?
That the Torah is from the atzmus.
Well, the Torah comes from the Chochmah of Hashem, and so the Chochmah is coming from the atzmus. Is that correct?
Yeah, that the Torah, that given of the Torah, and the hamshacha of the Torah is constantly from the Anoichi, from the atzmus. Anoichi Hashem Elokecha.
Before the Simpson.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why also the word Anoichi, Ana, Nafshi,
comes from the Simpson.
Absolutely. So Anoichi, the Gemara says, what's Anoichi? It's Ani, Nafshi, Tavit, Yahavit.
Which means?
Ani, me, myself, I've written, in other words, I've written myself inside the Torah. I've put myself inside the Torah.
Wow.
Ankhi, ani nafshi ktavit yav.
That's the bleakable of in the.
Hashem placed himself inside the Torah.
Is that above Havaya? We don't know.
Ankhi is above Havaya.
Yeah.
Ankhi is above Havaya.
Yeah.
Ankhi is definitely above Havaya.
Yeah.
And
focus on that.
And hopefully I don't know if we'll have maybe a little bit today. In the Rebbe Rashab, we're going to be blown away.
Yeah,
always. Rebbe Rashab just takes it to the whole idea of how is it that there's a itchachut in the Torah itself every day. And he explains it in regards to the neshamas of Bnei Israel. You'll see it inside. I don't want to spoil it. And the amshacha, in other words, the manifestation of the Torah from the atzmus is at every moment. And this is the point that the Rebbe Rashab, that is brought down in footnote 13, ateret. That's why it says when we bench the Torah, we says noten Torah.
It's constant.
Exactly, constant. It's in the hove. It's in the present. It's not
in the morning. In our brachas the same thing.
That's right. Shelachem amru chazal bechol yom yu benecha chadashim.
Not just for us all generation.
Chadashim mamash. Yeah. Exactly.
What else? Yeah. So Emunah Bitachon is in Havaya.
Bitachon is in Havaya.
The question is it's with respect to Hashem Mamash, whether it's in Ankhi.
Whether the Bitachon is in Ankhi?
Our Bitachon and Emunah is in. How far does it go? But that's the question of whether it's.
Maybe that's where it stems from.
Yeah, but stems from is like that's also outsource. That's essence. If you say stems from, I don't know. It's just that's the difference between almost being God or or whether you're or what level you are a creation or whether your essence is part of Him which is not completely revealed.
Right, and that's exactly the point. One of the points that the Rebbe Rashab says over here,
which makes and I say it very, very gently, whether it makes the Jewish people. I'm not saying we're God, but there's something there. That always manifestation in the world.
Right, absolutely. But the point that the Rebbe Rashab is going to make is that ultimately, the atzmus and the Torah we see in a revealed way. And that's why it constantly needs to be renewed.
Yeah.
And by the neshamas, it's hidden. And that's why it demands to be worked. This is Behelem.
So the point again.
He says that the atzmus is seen in the Torah in a revealed way.
Yeah.
But in regards now in the neshamos of Israel,
it's hidden.
It's hidden.
Yeah, because
that's why it requires an avoida.
But that's yeah.
Right. In other words, to bring it into the level of a gilui, and that's why in the Torah it has to be constantly bitchachus.
Yeah. So that's
because it's constantly connected. It's constantly revealed.
Yeah. Well, that's the Bitachon and the Emunah of each shoe.
Yeah.
In his hidden relationship with God.
Yeah. Okay, so let's keep the Rebbe Rashab for tomorrow. Bezrat Hashem.
Looking forward.
Yeah, absolutely. All the best, guys. See you.